Hey guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. We've got another knife for you today. This is a Tuesday. We've got a big blade for you. This is a no-name blade. It does say on the blade right here, ST:003. It also says 9CR18 MOV, and that's all that there is on this knife. Now, what does this knife look like? Still going through puberty, I guess. Looks like a Brous blades knife, doesn't it? It looks like that to me a little bit. Not exactly like any other models, but a fair bit like if, you know, 2 or 3 other models. But before we go into the full review of this, I just wanted to let you know something, and that is this knife, the NLAN M07. It's on for like 65% off at GearBest right now. So it's on for a clearance price. It's like $6.99 US, $8.80 or something Canadian. Very, very inexpensive. I did the review on this about a month ago, early January. So if you want to look at the video for this, I will put a new link on that video for GearBest, and I'll put a new link down below for this knife on there too. And that's because I really like this knife, especially at that price. Yes, it's got a tip-down pocket clip. I put it back on. I tend to use it without any pocket clip at all and just as a pocket dropper. Just because for that price, this is an awesome little knife to have. And if you live somewhere where you can have locking knives, but it has to be under 3 inches, this thing's about 2 3/4. So beautiful little knife, but we're not going to get distracted by that. We're looking at this guy today. All black wash. You can also get it in a gray all over, so it just looks more like a satin finish. Pocket clips on the one side, the right side only. A nice tip-up frame lock knife. So let's stick around for the full review coming at you right now. So with 9CR18 MOV steel, we've got a pretty decent steel. I really like the cut test results that Pete got over at the Cedric and Ada channel. For him, his 9CR18 MOV blade, or the one that I loaned to him, or gave to him, actually, didn't loan it to him, I gave it to him. I sent him a knife that I had reviewed, and he did a test on it, and the 9CR18 did very well. So I got a little bit more respect back for 9CR18. You know, for a little while there, I got to thinking that maybe it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was, but did better than 440C. Unless I got my results wrong, I'll double check it during editing. So what do we got? We got a Rockwell hardness of close to 60, 58, 59, probably, something like that. It can get up to 60, but usually doesn't. Black wash. The handle is all steel. You've got bevels all over the place, little angles. Nice stylized shape right there. Sort of a S-shaped handle. The pocket clip's got these standoffs on it, 2 of them. And being that it's got 2, that gives it a good amount of strength from moving laterally. And it clips fairly well. Good retention on your pocket. Lockup is nice and early. I'll give you a close-up shot of that area right there. It's a little hard to do when everything's all black, so the shot won't be the greatest, but I'll do the best I can. When the knife is closed, the blade alignment, again with dark, it's really, really hard to get perfect, but you can see that it's very good alignment when it's closed. I'll show you the bearings that are inside, the ball bearings. I'll show you the whole inside right now. It's too bad they didn't skeletonize it, because it would be lighter then, and right now it weighs a little bit more than I like it to weigh. But being that there's no brand name here, there's nobody really to complain to about that. So let's do the dimensions and everything now. We'll zoom in just a little bit more for that. Okay, cutting edge, 4.3 centimeters, 3.71 inches. Blade length, so end of the handle here to the tip, it's actually a little bit less, 8.89 centimeters, 3.5 inches. Blade thickness, 3.5 millimeters, that's 0.138 inches. Blade depth, and I measured it at the thickest spot, which is widest spot, which is right here at the base, but close to the pivot, 2.9 centimeters, 1.1 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, it's about inch from the pivot end right there. 0.69 millimeters, that's 0.027 inches. So it's a little bit thicker down here than I would like it to be. It doesn't need to be that thick to be a good strength and good resistance and good wear life and everything. So this is a very heavy duty edge that we have right there because of how thick it is. The handle length, 12.73 centimeters. That's 5 inches on the nose. The grip area, so inside the flipper tab here, or the guard now when it's open to the end of the handle, 10 centimeters, 3.9 inches. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is 1.24 centimeters. That's 0.488 inches, so just under half an inch thick. The handle depth right here, this is the widest spot, 2.9 centimeters, 1.1 inches. The total length of this knife with the blade deployed, 21.59 centimeters, 8.5 inches. It weighs 196 grams, 6.95 ounces. So basically 7 ounces for an 8.5 inch knife. She weighs too much. She needs to go on a diet just like me. And that's because this big show side piece of steel is a solid, heavy piece of steel. There's no skeletonizing, no milling out. Actually, not really skeletonizing. Skeletonizing implies cutting right through, but they could have milled out the inside of that quite a bit, even on the work side here, and have it lost a fair bit of weight. The balance point of this knife is way back here. I like it to be closer to the pivot point, and that's because you got all this thick steel back here. So that's what it is. How does this knife feel in hand? Well, on this kind of back grip, it's okay. So cutting edge forward, that's okay. If you want to do a back grip, which is kind of rare, most people don't do this grip, but some do, not very comfortable. You've got your flipper tab right here digging into the side of your palm too much. Just you don't have a stable hold that way, but you can get a pretty stable hold this way with your thumb back here. You don't put the thumb over the end. Well, you could, depending on the size of your hand. I tend to put it back here. I'm sort of double jointed on my thumbs. Like I can bring my thumbs back like that. So that's straight, that's bent, and then I can bring them right back. So if that's straight across, you know, and it's almost 90 degrees. A lot of people can't do that, but I do that, and I got a fair bit of strength on my thumb that way. So that's why I can grip it that way. And yes, both hands have that. Price for this knife. It depends if you want it in the black wash or the gray wash, or the gray. The gray is a little bit less. I don't know, about 10, 15% less, whatever the number is. I don't know exactly what the number is. So I'll give you the price of the more expensive one. That's this black wash one. And just know that the gray wash one is even less. So what do we have? $19.62 US plus about $2.50 shipping. In Canadian dollars, it's 24.91 plus just over $3 shipping. In euros, it's 16.27 plus about €2 for shipping. And in pounds sterling, it's 14.4 and under £2 for shipping. And again, the way the shipping works at GearBest, if you buy multiple items, the combined shipping goes down. So it's not just a strict combined shipping of each item. They actually lower it once you combine things. So what do I think of this knife? Fit and finish, pretty good. So what do we got? We got a flipper tab here. How well does it flip? Quite well. You can do the, since the flipper tab's almost in line exactly with the pivot, you can do the press method where you're pushing down with a lot of weight and then suddenly it lets go. I did go backwards slightly. You can't just go straight down. You do have to do a little bit of a momentum to the back. But that's that press method. Or you can do the light switch method where you put the weight on the front of the flipper tab and you just pull it back. That works quite well. So the pivot's quite free. It works quite well. The blade is snug. There's no blade play side to side, up and down. There's nothing like that. And as I showed you, the frame lock locks up quite nice. It's got decent action. If you do it with a knife in your hand and you put your fingers across here and your fingers across the handle so you can really feel what the bearings are doing, yeah, you can sort of feel the bearings doing their work. And that's a sign of friction, of less than perfection. You don't want to be able to feel sort of the balls turning in there. And you can. Yeah, so it's not a perfect system, but it's okay. Everything's Torx. That's good. I like the show side, has the nice show side here for the pivot screw. I wish they would have done the same thing on the other screws, but it's not bad. The pillars are very simple, just bars. Up here on the thumb rest, there's no jimping anywhere, but you can see the little bit of, let me see if I can get the light in there just right. When I move it back and forth, take a look at that edge and that edge right there. You can see those little chamfered edges in there. And that lets the meat of your thumb sort of sink into it a little bit. And that gives you a little bit extra purchase, which is a really good thing. Now, the problem is they took that same idea and did it on both sides right here. And I can see why you do it on the frame lock release arm, because you want to be able to get some of the meat of your thumb behind it to release the frame lock arm. By the way, there's no over travel protection, so you could push it too far, which is not a good idea. So don't push it too hard. But they did that relief cut on this side as well. Let's see if I can get the light in it this way. There you go. You can easily see it right there, right where I'm pushing my nail in. And that's not really good, because when you're holding it nice and snug, if you're doing some prolonged work, those two thin lines there tend to eat into your fingers. And so you can see a couple marks on there. So I wish they would have left this side here nice and wide and thick like this. If they would have kept that same thickness across there, that would give you a little bit more substance right there for your finger, your index finger, to grab onto. I can't do it really tight with my right hand. This is where I cut my finger. I sliced a big side off of there just before Christmas, going this way. And so I still got this zone here where the surface is right healed, but underneath, you know, if I put pressure on it in certain spots, it still gives a fair bit of extra pain. And that oval kind of shape there, it keeps shrinking and healing up. So hopefully in another month's time, that'll be all healed up and gone. But it tends to come right at that spot right there. So I can't squeeze it tight. Really hurts if I do that. So that's one of the benefits of being a left-handed guy. Basically, I'm ambidextrous with knives, which is a really good thing. So still, I wish they would have cut that out. That was a long way of getting to that one point, wasn't it? So what else do we have? The action's okay, but not great. The thumb cut release is good. The relief cut here for the index finger, not so good. We've got a good size stop pin right there. I like this drop point right here at the nose. You see Ganzo's doing that with some of their knives, which they copied off of Spyderco. So you've seen this on a number of different knives. It's like a sheep's foot drop point kind of front, which is a really nice way to give the blade strength close to the tip. At the very tip, it doesn't have an awful lot of strength, but it has strength, you know, just a tiny bit shy of the tip, and you're getting a good thickness of steel right away. And that's a good thing. Saber grind, which means a flat grind, that comes most of the way up, about 2/3 of the way. Nice sharpness choil right there, so that when you sharpen it, you don't get into the plunge lines right there. And so that's a nice sharpness choil, Spanish notch, some people call it. Flipper tab is nice, well-rounded all over the place. There's no sharp edges all around, except for the one that you really want to have. So it's a good looking knife. I like this hole up here. It's a nice sort of teardrop styling. I like that they didn't just make a hole all the way through, but they did a sort of relief cut area. So there you go. Good knife. Good price. I really wish there was a brand name to it. With this kind of model number of ST:003, that seems clearly to be a model name for somebody. So if somebody knows if some Chinese company's got a brand name on one of these that looks exactly the same, let me know about that, because I'm kind of curious, especially if they also have 9CR18 MOV steel on their blade. I'll show you what this thing looks like in my little pants pocket tester. It slides in the pocket very well, and then it holds on to the pocket right at those studs. And being that sort of grayish black wash, it kind of, you know, just sort of hides in the pants. It's not super visible, but it's clearly there. It comes out a little over 1 centimeter. not quite half an inch sticking out, and comes out of the pocket quite well. We've got some maple here, and this edge can cut this really, really well. I've got 20 degrees per side, and it came at, well, just like a lot of other these budget knives, it came at quite a bit over 20 degrees back here, and up here it was a little bit under 20 degree angle, and I've evened it out to 20 degrees all the way along. And you know, even cutting maple like this, this is a hard white maple, and I like this thick wide back here, by the way, so I can do this kind of thing. It's not a knife that's designed for whittling, but you can work really hard on some really hard wood, and the edge lasts for quite a while. Really, really nice that way. And this is a USB cable with wires in it, 4 wires and sheathing and everything. Cuts through that stuff quite well. Let's try some other stuff. Here we've got some 1/4 inch manila rope, and it just flies through that stuff. Just cuts through that like it's hardly there. And this is a tough kind of material to cut through. And after doing those kinds of things, it's still going to cut paper. So clearly it holds an edge quite well. The shape of the handle could use a couple of improvements, but the shape of the blade I really, really like. So thanks so much for watching this video. Thanks for being a supporter of this channel. If you're using my links to buy this knife, thank you very much. I will have links in the video description below, the text below the screen, above the comments. And I'll give you links for this and links for that M07 as well. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. And remember to always cut towards your chum. That's Old English word for friend, buddy, pal. And not your thumb. When will he ever learn? I don't know. Bye now, guys.